Hi everybody, this is the optional homework for April 2nd, Thursday. This is compare and contrast. So we're going to read this paragraph right here. It says that you need a yellow crayon, a blue crayon, and a red crayon. If you have those, great. If you don't, you can make do with just a pencil because we can do some shading and maybe you can box or circle just to do compare and contrast, okay? I did go ahead and find myself some crayons out of an old box that we had stuffed away somewhere because all of my stuff is at school and I can't go there. So, let's go ahead and do this. Take a look. Let's read along together. George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. George Washington was the first president of the United States. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th U.S. president. Abe grew up poor in a log cabin, but George grew up in a mansion and was rich. They are both on U.S. coins. Abe is on the penny, but George is on the quarter. Both of them were great leaders. So here's where you would take your yellow crayon, and it says to color the sentences that tell about similarities. Similarities, things that they have in common, things that are the same about both presidents. So let's take a look and see if we can find some similarities. So I'm going to color those yellow. George Washington was the first president, and Lincoln was 16. It was the 16th. Are those similar or different? Those are different, so I'm not going to color that one. Abe grew up poor. George grew up in a mansion, and he was rich. Are those the same or different? Those are different, so I'm not going to color that one yet either. Whew, let's get to the next one. They are both on U.S. coins. Are these similar? Yes, they are. So this is where, if you don't have a yellow crayon or a marker, or you didn't want to write it down, it's okay. You can just follow along. But this one, if you do have this, you're going to color it yellow, or you could box it up and just put it in a box. Just so that way you knew the difference. There we go. They are both on U.S. coins. Abe is on the penny, but George is on the quarter. Are those similar or different? Those are different. Both of them were great leaders. So we're talking about both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and color that one. That is something that they have in common. It's very similar. So they are both great leaders. That's something I'm going to go ahead and color. And they really were. There we go. Let's take a look down at the next section. Contrast. Color the pictures to contrast Abe and George. So, Monsieur Lincoln is going to be a blue. So anything that belongs to Abe is going to be blue. And Mr. Washington's going to be in red. There we go. Okay, so quarter. Who's on the quarter? You can look up here and see who's on that quarter. We know who's on the quarter. You guys do money and math all the time. Looky here. I'm going to go ahead and look at that. Quarter. That one belongs to old George. He gets the red one. What else belongs to George, I wonder? Well, let's take a look. What about the penny? Is that George? No, that's Abe. And we see we can go back. Abe is on the penny. Looky there. So I'm going to take my crayon. There we go. Let's see, what about the next part? Let me pull this up just a little bit so you can see it. We have a log cabin and a mansion right over here. So who belongs in the log cabin? Is it Abe or George? Yep, it's old Abe. Honest Abe. He grew up poor in a log cabin. So if that one is Abe, this mansion must belong to Mr. George Washington right here. We're going to shade that one in. Now, look at these right here. This is something that wasn't mentioned in our reading, but if you've been to Washington or you've seen pictures of Washington, there are two monuments there that go for each president, right? This is the Washington Monument. It's very, very tall. They do a lot of speeches and things like that in front of it. There we go. So that one belonged to George. And then old Abe, he also has a monument, and it has a statue of him sitting down in a chair, but it's behind all of these columns. So his statue would be back there. So I would color that one blue. There we go. Now this is a compare and contrast paragraph. I know you guys did it earlier in the week with bear and hare, but you also had some homework where you could find those signal words for compare and contrast. I wonder if we can find the compare and contrast in this sentence or in these paragraphs. So let's take a look here. Who was the first president? Abraham Lincoln was 16th. Abe grew up poor in a log cabin. But look, oh, right here. But George grew up in a mansion and was rich. So we're comparing them in one sentence. Abe grew up poor, but George was rich. Okay? Here's another one right down here. Abe is on the penny, but George is on the quarter. There's that word right there. That'll be a signal word to let us know that we can look at that and see that they are comparing two different people and two different things about them. And that is our compare contrast for today. I will see you soon. Bye.